Welcome, everyone. I am Dean Cynthia Ward, the Dean of the Metropolitan Center of Empire State College, State University of New York. I am incredibly pleased to welcome you to the celebration of the partnership between Empire State College and the Yip Harburg Foundation. These signing events are usually fairly dull, truth to tell. We sit at a table and we sign and then we shake hands and we take a few pictures and we go away. As part of the planning for this, the president, Ernie Harburg, of the Yip Harburg Foundation, and the vice president and artistic director, truly, Dina Harburg, took the position that there should be a performance and kind of a demonstration of what the Yip Harburg Foundation was about. So, in fact, what you're going to see and hear today is a celebration of Yip Harburg and really a demonstration of the meaning of the mission of the Yip Harburg Foundation. So, it's very special. I want to thank all of those who helped make it happen. They're listed in the program, but it's an elaborate list. I'm going to recognize some special guests, talk very briefly, and then bring Ernie up. Once again, I'm going to recognize Ernie Harburg, president of the Yip Harburg. Dina R. Harburg, vice president of the Ben Harburg, Yip Harburg. And Michelle Harburg. A member of the board and also a grandchild. From Empire State College, from our foundation board, which really helps to raise money for the college and is particularly focused on the mission of bringing scholarships to the college such that students can be, adult students, non-traditional students can be relieved from some of the burden, the financial burden. So I would like to recognize Tina Evans. Dave Fallard. And Bob Carey will be here as soon as he can. He's at a college meeting. President Meredith Hancock sends her greetings, as does Vice President Hugh Hammett, and representing Hugh is Diane Thompson, Director of Annual Giving. The four current holders of the scholarship granted by the Yip Harburg Foundation are Tammy McNeil, Nima Bean, Lee Summers, and Grace Mateo. And their mentors are Lucy Winter and Betty Wildmusic. So that really takes care of, there are many, many people in the room that I could also thank, but we had a small committee that worked with the Harburg Foundation that included Chris Wan, our interim associate dean, Lucy Winter, our mentor, Tara Maldonado, who makes all of this happen, and as well as myself. So thank you. I'm not going to talk. Try to talk very briefly about the fact that the missions of the Yip Harburg Foundation, which is dedicated to promoting educational opportunity, social and economic justice, and world peace, interlock with Empire State College's mission to provide access and opportunity for education to all students, no matter what their life circumstance, work, family, background, financial necessity, etc. Yip, you're going to hear a lot more, but just to place him immediately, He wrote Brother, Can You Spare a Dime? The lyrics, and also the lyrics to Over the Rainbow, and then not only that song, but the rest of that music, as well as hundreds of other wonderful songs. What's unique about this partnership, in one way it's very typical of our partnerships because we seek to work with groups that can provide educational resources to our students, either in the form of learning opportunities or in the form, in this case, of scholarships. And the Parberg Foundation was able to do both. We also seek organizations that share our mission, which I've already discussed, and where we can make a contribution to them also, where our students can help them in their mission and become involved in their educational endeavors. And as you'll see, the kinds of workshops and opportunities that the Harvard Foundation provides are just perfect for our students. So with that, I am going to step aside and I'll bring Ernie Harvard.
Well, I was given the task of saying something, so we could go on for hours, but I'm going to try to restrict it to the an aspect of Yip's lyric writing that most people don't take into account. But first I want to say that Yip really was a poet first. When he was 8 to 10 years old, he was in the Tompkins Square Library over here and reading poems and becoming a poet. Then when he went to City College, I guess, he became more of a philosopher of big things, big thoughts. In fact, one of the sentences that ring in my head is that what I try to do is take specific things and make them universal. Now that's a big job, particularly in a poem or a lyric or even a talk. So today I want to take some of his lyrics, just a very few, because he wrote over 650 that were published, and they have this particular trait in them, which I call question and answer, or problematic questions and problematic answers. So that I want to give you about 3 or 4 examples, and I'm going to be working with Jennifer Babiak, who sings such that I forget everything and just listen to her. And so will you. So the first example is a very clean, clear, sharp thing. Ding dong, the witch is dead.
Which old witch?
The wicked witch. There you go. Question, answer. You'll never see anything so simple and clear again in Yip's lyrics. But he did that for, so-called children's film. All right, so that takes care of that one. The second one is a little larger, and it has to do with the Depression and the song. He was caught right in 1932 when he was becoming a lyricist. And here's the composer was Jay Gorney, who came over from Russia also, and the music for this partially came from a lullaby that his mother used to sing to him. And also, if you look at it really close musically, which I can't, but Dina can, you'll hear the Hebrew national anthem. All right, and the singer here is Tommy Hollis, whom I personally love, but he died on 9/11, not from 9/11, but because he was overweight and he had hypertension and he wouldn't stop. Anyhow, let's have the first.
I see 1/3 of a nation ill-housed, ill-clad, ill-nourished.
They used to tell me I was building a dream with truth and glory ahead. Why should I be standing in line, just waiting for bread?
Now, the reason most of you haven't heard that question before is because it's in the verse, and most of the singers sing only the chorus. I consider that to be a rather profound question which hasn't been answered yet, and it's an example of a question asked and none answered. Now, let's keep going on that.
500,000 boots went slogging through hell, and I was the kid with the drum. Say, don't you remember, you called me Al? It was Al all the time.
Now I want to say that next question, say, don't you remember, does some rather amazing things. It establishes an emotional relationship between the singer, who represents the worst of the Depression, and the listener. Say, don't you remember? You call me Al. Now that's the answer. I've got a name. I'm not just a faceless somebody. Then he repeats the question.
Say, don't you remember? I'm your Al. Buddy, can you spare a dime?
Now, the reason for repeating is going to give you another shot of personal relationship. He's not only Al, but he's your pal. And he doesn't have a job, and he's out. And the question, then he shifts from brother, can you spare a dime, to buddy, can you spare a dime? All this is addressed to the listener. And can you spare a dime, these days, becomes symbolic of the Great Recession, and the line that people are standing on is the unemployment line now. Back then, they didn't have unemployment. So as Franklin Roosevelt said, 1/3 was ill-housed, ill-clad, ill-fed, and did not have a job. That is, the unemployment rate was about 30%. And among blacks, it was 60%. So, can you spare a dime now talks about the unemployment line. And the question that was asked in the verse still holds. Why am I just standing in line waiting for bread? Now, so let's move on now. The next song, which Catherine Russell sings it so beautifully, I couldn't cut it down to just a question. So, the composer was Vernon Duke, who was Dukelsky, as all of the Russian people who came over changed their names. Harburg was Hofburg, Gershwin was Gershowitz, etc., etc., etc. But Vernon Duke and Yip were totally opposites politically. He was a white Russian who defended the Tsar and was against the revolution at that time. He came over. And Yip, of course, was, well, let us call him a democratic socialist, all right? He might even have voted for Norman Thomas. All right. And the singer is Catherine Russell.
April in Paris, chestnut in blossom, holiday tables under the trees in Paris. This is a feeling no one can ever reprise. I never knew the charm of spring, never met it face to face. I never knew my heart could sing, never missed a warm embrace, till April in Paris. Whom can I run to? What have you done to my heart?
I love that. Catherine is still in town, and she still sings. But the questions, the two questions are what I want to talk about. And it's typical, that these questions are actually ambiguous. For those who are in a romantic mode, she's just discovered her lover. What have you done with my heart? Forever. And those of you who have had the experience of being jilted, or ditched or dumped or whatever you want to call it, what have you done to my heart is painful. And the other thing that makes me think about this interpretation is that Yip's 10-year-old wife, my mother, disappeared 3 months prior to writing this. And Yip was right in the middle of 3 shows. So I'm sure that's the beginning of this signature of Yip to ask problematic questions. And of course, you don't get an answer here except what you supply, And you could ask yourself, did she get a lover or did she lose a lover? All right, now the next psalm, it's actually 2 questions which are similar, but they had to change the first one in order to get the ending. And these are the 2 questions from that song, which is now 75 years old. Incidentally, April in Paris is also 75, 80 years old, 1932. And Brother Conspirator died in 1932. So these songs, which Yip attempted to touch the universality of us, I think contribute to their staying power, because it's not just in the United States, it's all over the world that these songs are still sung. All right, so what have we got here? We got Dorothy. You remember the film, and nobody's read the book, right? Good, there we go. Well, the book has very little to do with the film, except it did supply the heroine and the 2 witches and all the characters. Everything else was changed. So at the beginning of the film, you might remember Dorothy's running up and she's holding Toto, and Miss Gulch wants to take her dog away from her. And nobody will listen to her. She goes to Aunt Em, she goes to Uncle Henry. Incidentally, Dorothy is an orphan. It's never explained, even in the book, how that happened, but she must have some pain in regard to that. And home must mean different things for her. So anyhow, they all tell her, go away, I'm busy. And Aunt Em says, and I'm not sure that Yip wrote these lines, but as far as I could tell, let's say he did. Go away and go to a place where there isn't any trouble. And then she comes walking back to the barnyard with Toto, and she is angry at the world. She's suffering from a very universal problem that every one of us had, that is growing from a juvenile to a adolescent. And parents are not to be trusted. Parents are inept, and parents are never been trained, but they may even love her, but it doesn't make any difference. It isn't helping the child become independent and on her own. So she has to make a choice, which we all make. Should I run away today, or should I wait until the time comes when it's proper to run away, you know? In this case, she wanted to get out earlier, all right? And so the actual lyrics on the last, what is that, bar, scale, Dina?
Yeah,
The actual lyrics. What, is that the word? Scale?
In the
Yeah.
last
Yeah.
measure, yeah.
Right. Somewhere over the rainbow. Well, that's where she's thinking about. Bluebirds fly. Birds fly over the rainbow. Why then, oh why can't I? Now, what happened, Ira Gershwin and Yip Harburg were lifelong friends. And Harold Arlen, and they'd all work together on Broadway shows. Life Begins at 8:40. In fact, Yip and Ira both get credit for the lyrics, so that they're very deep, and they knew how to collaborate with each other. So they had first called Ira in at the beginning of the song, and because Harold was playing it in a symphonic way. And Yip said, this isn't for a 16-year-old, or whatever she was at that time, 14. So they brought in Ira. And Ira told Harold, slow it down, make it more rhythmic, a little more popular. And suddenly you heard what you now know as Somewhere Over the Rainbow, musically. And Yip said, okay, that's fine. And I'm not going to go into big, long stories about where the rainbow came from and how you've got it here, but that'll take another chapter. At any rate, during the song, when she starts singing it, in the first stanza, it says, somewhere over the rainbow, way up high. And then the next stanza, it says, somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue. And then at the end, bluebirds fly. Now, in this poetry, we are lifted up. You're practically looking up at the blue sky. I mean, the feeling, expression that you have in you. However, Harold, being more of an introverted and sad person underneath it all the music went down while the words were going up. And it created a tension in terms of what Judy was singing. But when you got to the end, why then or why can't I, that also went down musically. And anyhow, when they called Ira in and they had this big discussion, which we'll never know, you know, what they say or what they did there. At any rate, they decided that, all right, this is not a happy song, but it's a yearning song. And it's a song in which the singer makes a decision. And that they have to do something about the ending. So let's see. Should we put up a musical example here? Yeah. See, what happens here in terms of birds fly over the rainbow, why then, oh why can't I? This thing here is a down because This note is what they call the home note. You start the song with a note and you go back to it at the end of the song, all right? But when you do it here, all of a sudden the song starts and you're back in Kansas again. And they all felt that this was not where we wanted to go. We wanted to go to Oz. So Ira left and Yip and Harold went into their collaborative process, which is totally mysterious because scientists have never investigated what they talk about in there. But Yip changed the lyric and Harold changed the music. And what Yip did was to put the word if happy little, if happy little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow, all right? Now, why, oh, why can't I? Now, that is a logical thing. The question has an answer in it. Of course, you can. That's what's in that question. And the music, as you can see, is going up, 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 up.
If happy little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow, why, oh, why can't I?
And Dorothy and all of us are taking a flight to Oz. But with the other ending, you didn't have it. So questions, when you're a lyricist, you have to talk with your composer also, all right? Now, as I said, he wrote over 600 published lyrics, 650, I don't know the count. And the very last one that he wrote with Burton Lane, I want Jennifer to sing the title here.
Where have I seen your face before?
Question.
How did I face the world before I saw your face?
Now that never got distributed, but again, the question is problematic because here again, is it one where you found your loving companion, or did she die several months ago and you're just having a bit of grief here? So you can all think about that. And but about Yip with his lyrics and with his penchant for asking those kind of questions. But I don't want to leave you on that note, because Yip says that questions make you think. And also, you should use your humor to imagine things. And even in a downtime like the Depression or losing your wife or whatever, there's still hope. And the hope comes out of the humor and the thought. So I'm going to go back to when he wrote a book of poems, which was called Rhymes for the Irreverent. And in one of them, he takes up the universal question of the love relationship. And it goes like this. Oh, innocent victims of Cupid, remember this terse little verse. To let a fool kiss you is stupid, but to let a kiss fool you is worse.
Thank you, Ernie, and thank you, Jennifer. That's beautiful. Hi. Well, before we continue on, I just want to say, I was thinking as I was sitting there, in showbiz, there's an old saying, if you don't want to be upstage, don't work with children or dogs. I'd like to add to that a harbor. How are you going to follow that, Ernie? That's great. Fascinating. Thank you. My name is Jonathan Hadley, and I'm part of the Yip Harburg Foundation's Rainbow Troupe, as are all the performers. Oh, I'm getting applause already. that you see up here on stage. And we're thrilled to be here with you all this afternoon to hopefully give you some of the joy that we've all found in working on Yip's lyrics and poems. We've also brought with us some very honored guests through the magic of that little machine over there. And I'd like to introduce you now to Mr. Yip Harburg himself and a little singer you might know, Miss Judy Garland.
Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby.
Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me.
Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly over the rainbow. Why then, oh, why can't I?
If any little bird can fly beyond the rainbow, why, oh, why can't I?
Yip once wrote, "Words make you think thoughts, music make you feel feelings, but a song makes you feel a thought." Of course, you need music and lyrics to make a song, and as Ernie said, Yip asked a lot of questions, which we'll see in these songs this afternoon. Yip's songs often speak to humor and hope in hard times, and Yip became known as Broadway's social conscience, which you'll see a lot of also this afternoon. Yip's parents were poor Russian immigrants, and Yip always had a soft spot for the immigrants in America. And this first song is from probably his most famous stage show, Finian's Rainbow, and it's sung by a young girl who's just off the boat from Ireland, singing about her home country. Do we have a young girl just off the boat from Ireland? Could you sing a little song for us? Yes.
Little brook still leaping there? Does it still run down to Donny Cove, through Killybegs, Kilkerry and Kildare? How are things in Glockamora? Is that willow tree still weeping there? Does that laddie with the twinkling eye come whistling by, and does he walk away sad and dreamy there, not to see me there?
as Ernie pointed out to me earlier, that almost that entire song is a series of questions, which I hadn't even noticed. Yip grew up in a small cold water flat on 11th Street and Avenue C. You all probably know where that is. 8 people in one room. Now, speaking of his childhood, he once wrote, "The chill of poverty never left my bones."
And so, in 1930, when the Dream Machine was derailed and the engine wrecked, I saw executives driving taxis, engineers selling apples, skilled workers and veterans standing in bread lines. They were not people in revolt or angry, but baffled, bewildered that this big, powerful dream machine could collapse so utterly. The lyric I wrote to Jay Gorney's music was not for an underling asking for a handout, but for a proud man asking a vital question.
They used to tell me I was building a dream, and so I followed the mob, where there was earth to plow or guns to bear. I was always there right on the job. They used to tell me I was building a dream with hope and glory ahead. Why should I be standing in line just waiting for bread? Once I built a railroad, made it run, made it race against time. Once I built a railroad, now it's done. Brother, can you spare a dime? Once I built a tower to the sun, brick and rivet and lime. Once I built a tower, now it's done. Brother, can you spare a dime? Once in khaki suits, gee, we look swell, full of that Yankee doodly-dum. Slogging through hell, I was a kid with a drum. Oh, say, don't you remember? They called me Al. It was Al all the time. Say, don't you remember? I'm your pal. Can you spare a dime?
I don't have a dime for you, but I got a question.
I'll take a check.
No, I don't have that. I do have a Yip Harbor question for you.
What's that?
Well, what is the curse that makes the universe so all bewildering?
Yeah, and what is the hoax that makes the folks who...
That's right there. There it is.
Oh, lyrics, and he's in the room too. Okay. What is the curse that what is the hoax that just provokes the folks they call God's children?
What is the
jinx that gives a body and his brother and everyone around? The runaround.
small invention, necessity. My feet wanna dance in the sun.
My head wants to rest in the shade.
The Lord says go out and have fun.
Then the landlord says,
You're ready, pay now!
Oh, necessity.
It's plain to see what a lovely old world this silly old world could be. But man, it's all in a mess, account of necessity. That's the maximum that a minimum thing could be. There's nothing lower than less, unless it's necessity.
One more time.
There's nothing lower than less, unless it's necessity.
Not only every artist, but every person is confronted with two things in his life. His drive is to be related to the universe, but that's a hard thing because there are so many stars, and it's very hard to grasp that relationship. So his next best thing is to be related to humanity, and there are a lot of people, and that's hard too. So if he can identify himself and relate with one person, he will relate with all of humanity, and then he will relate with all the stars. And I think it's summed up in it's only a paper moon sailing over a cardboard sea. But it wouldn't be make-believe if you believed in me.
Yes, it's only a canvas sky floating over a muslin tree. But it wouldn't be make-believe if you believed in me. Without your love, it's a honky-tonk parade. Without your love, it's a melody played in a penny arcade. It's a Barnum and Bailey world, just as phony as it could be. But it wouldn't be make-believe if you believed in me. No, it never is make-believe when you believe in me. Thank you all. Thank you, Sam Nadia, Dan Harburg, Jonathan Hadley, Denise Renzo, Lee Summers, and Michael Ross on the piano. We got a little more in a little bit. In fact, and a special appearance by Mr. Ben Harburg. But now I'd like to turn the program over to Dean Cynthia Ward. Yeah.
Right now, we're going to do the ceremonial signing, and we're also going to recognize the current scholarship recipients. And in a minute, we're going to have a table. Just could not have been more moved by that last presentation. I thank the performers so much. It's really I've known Dina and Ernie a long time. Dina and I went to undergraduate school together at the University of Chicago. So, before we ever became professors and experts and deans of all kinds of things. So I think I know things about YIP, and then every time I see it, it really means more and more to me. It really deepens my understanding and appreciation. So I would like to bring Dina and Ernie up.
Ernie? Yes.
Ernie.
Yes, we have to sign.
Oh, we have to sign.
Ernie, you can sit right here.
Make it official.
We'll get Dina settled there.
Where do you
Sit
want?
her over here.
Why don't you be in the middle? No.
Because I can hear.
So you want Dina pick,
Oh.
Ernie, pick your chair.
Huh? Okay.
Up here? Up here?
Right.
Good. We have questions that we can answer.
Wait, yeah. First we're signing.
Right, first we're signing. We change the word a little. Right? And
We each, what do we do?
And in a formal signing, what the groups are doing is establishing a memorandum of understanding that is an affiliation between the State University of New York, Empire State College, with the YIP Harburg Foundation, participants, members, and employees. And what they are getting is access to credit-based educational opportunities through the college's centers, locations, and online. And the YIP Harburg Foundation is providing current and potential students with the ability to participate in unique workshops and internships led by seasoned professionals in the entertainment industry. They will also be able to audition for performance opportunities. So for Empire State College, we're going to be able to work with them on learning opportunities for our students. And for the foundation, people that they talk to in the theater world, and I was just talking to Lee, and people that talk to people that talk to people, we think there are a lot of people out there who could benefit from the Empire State College individualized model of education. So this is our signing to signify that this is in fact what we wish to do. And I will sign first on behalf of Empire State College.
We have two of them?
We have two. Ernie will sign next. This is our photo op, so we have to smile. Videographers while we're doing this.
Yeah, photo op.
The Lawson sign.
You know how to do it, I don't.
I have to tell everybody that this is the only signature in Manhattan that you could read every single letter. Because Mrs. Miano in the 6th grade would hit us. So I always think of Mrs. Miano, and I want you all to think of Mrs. Miano. Because she's gone, and nobody else wants to teach the way she taught.
When I want to, you can read it.
Mine used to be better than it is now.
Yeah, it gets faster and faster, right? Okay. All right.
Now, we should say also that Dina's real name is Dina Rosenberg, and she wrote the best book on the collaboration of George and Ira Gershwin. It's the best because it shows you how the music and the lyrics go together. All the rest of the songs are about George's music, I suppose, but Dina wrote the only one that brought them together. And I don't regret it, but I did want her to use the name Harburg, you know. The thing is, this is an occasion after 32 years of our being married.
I was a
when-
child bride.
And she writes Dina R. Harburg. So, it's an occasion.
So one copy stays with me for Empire State College, and I'm giving the second copy to Dina for safekeeping.
All
The
right.
Harvard Foundation. I would now like to ask the scholarship recipients, Tammy McNeil, Rima Bien, Lee Summers, and Grace Mateo to come.
Where are they going to stay? Yeah, you can do it.
There we go, two. Here's Grace. Grace, why don't you come on this side? There we go. All right. And stand a bit forward
You
here
have
so
to
that
be
we
with the
can.
camera.
Oh.
We'll do it against this background.
Okay.
Oh, where they are is fine.
Okay, no, I'm just figuring out whose is who. Okay, so, on behalf of Yip and Ernie and I, we would like to give these scholars, in addition to the scholarships, a little, whatever, special Yip Harburg present. And I want to say that I was working with Yip at the end of his life on a project that he wanted to get all his unknown songs on film, with me asking him questions and he would answer about them and then he would sing them. And this is so that students, you know, in higher education would have him teaching in New York City from these videos in case he was on the West Coast making a film. So that was a kind of cool thing, because on the West Coast making that film, he never came back. He was working on the film and it was fast and that was good, but he did leave us these resources and it was just fun to be working on it with him. This is for the students, this is for the students. So you guys and anybody else are welcome to come to the Yip Harburg archive and take a look at them. Maybe we'll use them in our workshops here as well. So we just thought that would be kind of cool. And my one other little anecdote is that when I married Ernie, people said, oh good, you married into a famous family and now you'll get someplace. But actually I met Yip well before I knew his son. And Yip introduced me to Ernie. So I just want to say I didn't have to marry into the family to get my initial entree, though I was very overwhelmed and humbled by that, knowing Yip and I are. Anyway, so these are little, as I said, Yip gifts, and so they're made out individually, and so here's Grace's.
Thank you very much.
And
I have to say I wrote a little thing in the
okay,
front.
you want to say what you wrote? Want me to say?
Well, you could read it.
Okay. Yip says, it's hopeless,
But it's not serious.
But it's not serious. Oh, that is.
It's
He said that through Finian. Finian said the line. Anyway, cool line.
We all read it.
And this for Tammy.
Thank you so much.
Now you have to read yours.
It's the same.
No.
They're all different.
What?
How did you know?
What?
Yip says to let a fool kiss you is stupid.
There you
To let a kiss fool you is worse.
go. There you go.
Oh, they are all different. Wonderful. Now you have to read
You
yours.
have to get to the bottom.
It's good advice.
You're welcome.
Yip says, don't be a dope, utopia, but get your utopia now.
And Lee.
Thank you, Dina. Thank you, Ernie.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Yip. Pull out the glasses. Let's see here. It says, Yip says, science is only magic with an English accent.
We have another member of the Yip Harvard Foundation Board with us, Michelle Harvard, so I'd like to have her join the group as well now.
And the envelopes are not just cards, they have something in them.
Oh, okay, thank you.
So don't
Could everyone
use that.
squeeze into the
Now, we have more music, so this is just an interlude of Jack taking pictures of us. You might grab something to eat or drink.
Okay, here we go. Right here, please. Thank you.
Sorry.
Okay, great. Another one, please. Terrific. Thank you. Congratulations.
I don't know, as you've seen, Yip was the greatest leprechaun of all, and he was blessed with the humor gene, and he certainly passed it down to his son, and even his grandson, who we happen to have on stage with us. Ben,
Yes.
join me on stage. Ben is going to sing for us a song that is probably one of the greatest love songs ever written. Wouldn't you say, Ben?
Yes, Jonathan, it's gladly to be titular. I'm the clownest of the Groucho Marx.
Absolutely, what he said. So, Ben, sing for us, will you?
Sure, Jonathan. Get it. Lydia, oh Lydia, say have you met Lydia? Oh Lydia, the tattoo lady. She has eyes that folks adore so, and a torso even more so. Lydia, oh Lydia, that encyclopedia. Oh Lydia, the queen of tattoo. On her back is the Battle of Waterloo. Beside it, the wreck of the Hesperus too. And proudly above waves the red, white, and blue. You can learn a lot from Lydia. La la la, la la la, la la la, la la la. She can give you a view of the world in tattoo if you step up and tell her where. For a dime you can see Kankakee up Paris or Washington crossing the Delaware. La la la, la la la, la la la, la la la. Oh Lydia, say have you met Lydia? Oh Lydia, the tattoo lady. When her muscles start relaxing, up the hill comes Andrew Jackson. Lydia, oh Lydia, that encyclopedia. Oh Lydia, the champ of them all. For to bit she will do a mazurka in jazz with a view of Niagara that no artist has. And on a clear day you can see Alcatraz. You can learn a lot from Lydia. La la la, la la la, la la la, la la la. Come along and see Buffalo Bill with his lasso. Just a little classic by Mendel Picasso. Here's Captain Spaulding exploring the Amazon, and Godiva, but with her pajamas on. La la la, la la la, la la la, la la la. Here's Grover whaling, unveiling the Trilon. Over on the west coast we have Treasure Island. Here's Najaskia doing a rumba. Here's her social security number. La la la, la la la, la la la. Oh Lydia, say have you met Lydia? Oh Lydia, the champ of them all. She once swept an admiral clear off his feet. The ships on her hips made his heart skip a beat. And now the old boy's in command of the fleet, for he went and married Lydia. I said Lydia, I said Lydia, I said Lydia, I said Lydia, the queen of tattoo. La la.
Like I said before, don't follow a harbor. Where did you get that? Thank you, Ben. Was that a Groucho Marx song?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
yes.
was Groucho Marx.
Yes.
All right. As we saw before, Yip was also a prolific poet, and he once wrote a poem titled "History." The poem goes, "We learn this after every war, that life is not worth dying for." Yip believed that humor is an act of courage, and that you definitely need humor and hope in hard times. Ben and Janine, will you sing this next song for us?
Out of the fallen leaves, the autumn world over. Out of the shattered rose that will smile no more. Out of the embers of blossoms and ashes of clover, spring will bloom one sweet morning.
This is the cry of life, the winter world over. Sing me no sad amen, but a bright encore. For out of the flags and the bombs buried under the clover, spring will bloom
One sweet morning, one sweet morning, the rose will rise to wake the heart and make it wise. This is the cry of life, the winter world over.
sing me no sad amen, but a bright encore. For out of the flags and the bombs buried under the clover, spring will bloom.
Peace will come one sweet morning, one sweet morning.
All right.
Ben, I have a question for you.
Me?
A question like Ernie said we ask, that's a beautiful song, One Sweet
Beautiful,
Morning.
beautiful.
But here's my question, when does that morning come?
When?
Yeah, when?
On that great come and get it day. Won't it be fun when worry is done and money is hay?
Great.
That's the time things will come your way. On that great, great come and get it day, my gown will be a calico gown. My feet will dance all over the town.
God's word has come from Gabriel's horn. The earth beneath your plow is abundant and now it's yours.
Glory times coming for to stay.
On that great, great come and get it day,
Come and get it, come and get it, come and get it, come and get it.
says he, says in the good book it says, a mighty morning is nigh. Universal 4th of July. gravy and 2 meatballs!
On that great come and get it day. Won't it be fun when worry is done and money is hay?
That's the time things will come your way. On that great, great come and get it day.
My gown will be a prodigal gown. My feet will dance all over the town.
'Cause word has come from Gabriel's horn. The earth beneath your plow is a button and now it's torn. Glory time's coming for to stay. On that great, great come and get it and keep it and share it. Come and get it day.
Harburgs get moved. And finally, as Ernie mentioned earlier, Brother You Spare a Dime, Can You Spare a Dime, which is beautifully sung by Lee, was sung at the beginning of the Depression. And at the end, Yip wrote what is arguably the most hopeful song ever written about hope in hard times. And please sing along with us if you like. But Janine, will you start us off on this?
In times like these, do you think that love will find a way? With all the lights dimmed out and darkness all about. In times like these, will we ever find a dream somewhere? Is there a silver lining that keeps on shining somewhere?
Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind.